question 7. You have negative 10 plus 2 times the absolute value of minus x minus 3 equals negative 2. If y is one of the solutions to this equation above and y is greater than 0, what is the value of y? Let's write out the equation and solve for y. We have negative 10 plus 2 times the absolute value of minus x minus 3 equals negative 2. When you're solving, not for the answer, but for an unknown, a part of what should have been given as the question, you do the inverse of BODMAS. Normally, you'd have used BODMAS to get this negative 2. But here we are doing the reverse, so we do the reverse of BODMAS. It's like reverse engineering. So let's say we have BODMAS, or what you can also refer to as BIDMAS. You start with getting this negative 10 off. Knowing that this absolute value works similarly like the bracket. What I'm simply saying is you could have it like minus 10 plus 2 in open bracket minus x minus 3 close bracket equals negative 2. It's just like this. This 2 is linked to the bracket by times, same as this 2 here. Hope you understand. So we have this negative 10 linked to this by addition. So we get the negative 10 to the right. Standard in math, since it's negative 10, you say you add 10 to both sides. The effect is still the same thing as saying negative 10 crosses the equal sign and turns to positive 10. So you'll be left with 2, the 2 has a positive. You don't need to put it, it's not necessary. Times the absolute value of negative x, negative 3 equals negative 2, positive 10, or plus 10. Negative 10 crosses and becomes positive 10. Like I always said, the negative or the positive sign in front of a number or a value is owned by that number or value. So the negative 10 crosses and becomes positive 10. Now we have 2 times the absolute value of negative x, negative 3 equals minus 2 plus 10. You are owing 2, you have 10. Since the 10 owns positive, you can still write it as plus 10 minus 2. It will give you 8. So you have this as 8. Next, you have the 2 linked to the absolute value by times. And the absolute value operates like a bracket, and you're doing reverse. So you get rid of the 2 first before we consider the absolute value. Next, we divide both sides by 2, since the 2 is outside. So this divided by 2, this divided by 2. 2 cancels 2. You'll be left with the absolute value of negative x minus 3 equals, you have 8 divided by 2, the result is 4. Next, we remove the absolute value. And to remove the absolute value, this 4 will be plus or minus 4. So we have negative x minus 3 equals plus or minus 4. Next, we have negative x minus negative 3 equals negative 4, or negative x minus negative 3 equals positive 4. One of these will get the negative, the other will get the positive. Or you can put positive first before negative, still the same thing. We solve for x. You might find working with negative quite difficult. Just take the negative x, in this case, to the other side of the equals sign. It crosses with the negative, it turns to positive. Then this negative 4, you bring it to this side, it turns to positive 4. So you have 4 minus 3 equals x. 4 minus 3 is 1, x is 1. Or you can still follow the process and say negative x equals negative 4. Then you have negative 3. You want the negative 3 to the other side. Negative 3 crosses and becomes positive 3. Or on the other side, you have negative x equals 4. Standard in math, you say add 3 to both sides. The result is still same as saying negative 3 crosses and becomes positive 3. Next, negative x equals negative 4 plus 3. You are owing 4. 4 is greater than 3, and 4 has a negative. 3 has a positive. So you are owing 4, you have 3. If you pay 3, you have, from the 4 you owe, you still be owing 1. So negative x equals negative 1. Or negative x equals 4 plus 3, that's 7. We're looking for x. X should be positive. So here, to get rid of this negative, you divide both sides by minus 1. Negative divided by negative is positive. X divided by 1 is x. You just want to make the x positive. equals -1 divided by -1. Negative divided by negative is positive. You can choose to write it positive or leave it empty. Then 1 divided by 1 is 1. So x is 1. Or on the other side, we also divide by -1 to make the x positive. Negative divided by negative is positive. X divided by 1 is x, equals, this 7 has a positive and this 1 has a negative. Positive divided by negative will give you negative. Then 7 divided by 1 will give you 7. So x here is -7. So the two values for x are 1 or -7. Let's go back up and write it. X equals 1 or -7. And going back to the first line of the question, it says if y is one of the solutions to this equation, one of the solutions, and y is greater than 0. So of these two values, the one greater than 0 is 1. -7 is less than 0. So y is 1. So the answer to this question is B, that's 1.